Hey guys, today I want to teach you how to use key details to summarize a text. It's real important when you are reading informational text that you're able to identify what the text is about, what's the main idea, and what are the details that support the main idea. But before we get started in this presentation, I want to make sure that you have watched the videos that I put in Canvas for you to watch. And one was this one. And the next one was this one. So be sure you've watched those two videos because that's going to be important to the activities that we do today. I didn't want to show them on this video because I'm going to make it too long. Okay, so I showed you a guided questioning worksheet the other day. We gave you a copy of this for you to put in your notebooks. And this is a little checklist that just kind of reminds you that when you approach a text, be sure that you're aware of why you're reading the text and take note of key information about the text. You want to approach it, find out who wrote it, who published it, is the source valid, when was it published, so that you know if it's current information. Then you want to focus on one question that you have in mind as you read. The question you could pull from this little set, like how's the text organized, what information is being presented, what do I want to learn, what do I think this text is mainly about, what do I learn about the topic, or you could focus in on the language, what kind of words or phrases stand out to me, what words are the author using to demonstrate their bias. What is it that they want to persuade me to think, or what is it that they want me to learn? Who's the audience here? Why was this passage even written? What was the goal? So today we are going to read Grandfather Tales, and my purpose in reading this is just to find out, what's this passage really about? What's it really saying? Sometimes authors like talk in code, and you've got to think on, what do they really mean by this? So let's read this and just see. This is related to the last video that you watched, if you watched the two videos on the wolves and the Cherokee legend that I told you to watch. All right, so let's read. An old grandfather said to his grandson, who came to him with anger at a friend who had done him an injustice, "Let me tell you a story. I too at times have felt a great hate for those that have taken so much with no sorrow for what they do. But hate wears you down, and it does not hurt your enemy. It's like taking poison and wishing your enemy would die. I've struggled with these feelings many times," he continued. "It is as if there are two wolves inside me. One is good and does no harm. He lives in harmony with all around him and doesn't take offense when no offense was intended. He will only fight when it's right to do so, and in the right way. But the other wolf, he's full of anger. The littlest thing will set him into a fit of temper. He fights everyone all the time for no reason. He can't think because his anger and hate are so great. It's helpless anger, for his anger will change nothing. So it's hard to live with these two wolves inside me, for both of them try to dominate my spirit." And then the grandson looks intently into his grandfather's eyes and he asks, "Which one wins, grandfather?" And the grandfather quietly said, "The one I feed." So this is what you saw in the videos. And what's the grandfather trying to say here? He's saying that all of us have good and evil within. And are we going to focus on the good, or are we going to let things fester inside and we're going to let hatred overcome who we are as a person? Because when someone has wronged you and they're not sorry for that, then that could take over your thoughts, it could take over your mind, and it could cause you to be consumed with that, when the person who actually wronged you has gone on about their business and they're not even thinking about the wrong that they did anymore. So it's like a poison inside of you. So the grandfather is saying, are you going to continue to be full of anger and rage, or are you going to let it go and you're going to move on and you're going to continue to do good? So which wolf inside of you are you going to feed? Are you going to feed the good wolf, or are you going to feed the bad wolf? The two videos address that even better. So let's take a look at this. And talk about, if we wanted to summarize what the grandfather is saying, what we have to do is we have to look at the key details. So the key details were, first of all, a grandson came to his granddad. He had had a fight with a friend. So why does the author put this information in this passage? He puts it in there because the fight inspires the whole conversation. The second detail is that the grandfather tells a story to the grandson, and the purpose of his story is to teach the grandson a lesson. So another detail in the story, the grandfather tells about these two wolves that are inside of him, and these two wolves represent choices. One wolf is everything good, and the good wolf chooses to remain positive, and the other wolf is everything bad, and the bad wolf fills himself with hate. And so then the grandson asks, well, which one of these wins? This detail reveals that the grandson needs some guidance on what choice to make. He's gone to the grandfather and he says, I got this going on. This kid or this person has wronged me and I'm really upset about it. What do I do? And then the grandfather replies, the one I feed. So the grandfather's response leaves the reader thinking about which wolf the grandson will feed. Will the grandson continue to be angry? Or will he let it go? Will he feed the good wolf? Okay, so the work that I've just done is I read a passage and I have pulled out the key details, what I feel like the author wanted me to understand was the most important things going on in the story. And I reflected on those details and I asked myself, okay, so why would the author put this here? And I did my thinking work on the other side here. So this is my supporting, my key details, and these are why, my whys. All right, so now I'm going to take that information and I'm going to write a summary. When you write a summary, it needs to be free of your opinion or any judgment. It just needs to state the facts that were told in the story. So let's see if you can see how I use these details to write the summary. And a summary would be like a paragraph. So in A Grandfather Tales, a young boy comes to his grandfather because he's struggling with his anger towards a friend who had betrayed him. That was the first key detail that we noted. The grandfather tells the story of these two wolves that live within him. One wolf is good, and he lives in harmony with all, even in times of conflict. And the other is bad, and he responds to conflict with anger and hate. So the grandfather then explains that the wolf that wins is the one he feeds. So he leaves it up to the boy. All right, so what are you going to do? Are you going to let this go? Or are you going to continue to feed bitterness and hatred and be mad at this person who is not even sorry for what they did to you? All right, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to do this same exact information, and you are going to do it on a notebook entry. Using this information, I should have said. Okay, so what I've done here is I have given you a passage. It's about the unusual Venus flytrap. I've chunked the passage for you like we did in the last video, and it says finding the central idea of a paragraph and analyzing supporting details to write a summary. So you're going to read this, and you are going to figure out what's the central idea. What is this paragraph mainly about? The central idea is the most important point that the author makes. The central idea is not always directly stated, just like it wasn't in Grandfather Tales. You often need to figure it out based on the details and then state it in your own words. And you're going to write the central idea of the paragraph above, and then you're going to add the supporting details in the last two columns. So right here in this little box, you're going to type the central idea, and in these boxes here, I have put down two supporting details. You're going to add the last supporting detail that was in this paragraph above. Then you're going to read the rest of the passage. There's one more paragraph. Then I've given you a end-of-grade test type question that goes with our standard 2, which is summarizing, and it says, which sentence from the paragraph best shows the text's central idea? So you find the central idea, you look at the details, and then you're able to summarize. 6.2 is basically finding central idea and details. So you're going to read your choices, and you're going to type your answer in this box. Then you're going to scroll down, and you're going to use this information about the central idea and the details, and you're going to type a little paragraph just like I showed you with Grandfather Tales, you're going to type a paragraph here and you're going to tell me what this passage was about. With the Venus flytrap, you're going to tell me, based on the central idea and these supporting details, write a paragraph summarizing the passage. Okay, so hopefully your hashtag summaries that we did yesterday will help you with this, because you can get a little hashtag summary in your head with this paragraph and with the second paragraph, and then you can put all that together to write a complete paragraph summarizing, not just a one sentence summary like we did yesterday with hashtag summaries, but a paragraph summary as to what this passage was about. All right, have fun.